Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mothers and fathers, aunts and uncles, cousins, of course, and grandmothers and grandfathers, and baseball fans everywhere, welcome to this edition of the Valley Baseball League podcast. Just a programming reminder for everybody, we are bringing you the best of the Valley League Tuesday through Sunday, and on Monday, we are bringing you podcasts. That's right. That's basically the plan here. Plus, we're changing our rewind games slightly. We're trying to condense them so you can consume them without consuming your whole evening. If you want to consume, your beverage of pleasure while you're watching this, you only have a half an hour to do it because we're going to try to get these things down to a half an hour. But hey, if you've been following our podcast for the last couple of weeks now, I've been talking about a no-hitter that was coming. Couldn't remember exactly when, but guess what? Tonight is your night. If you like to see some seriously intense pitching, well, you got to stay tuned. You got to stay tuned in. It's just quite that simple. So here to help me distill this first no-hitter of the season, and I'll give you a hint. There was another one. Here's the crew. Everybody say hi to Aaron.
Hi. So you're going to get one no-hitter tonight. We have to watch every single one of these podcasts from here on out to figure out when the next one comes, okay?
Hey, I love that. Yeah, just stay tuned in. And better still, subscribe, like, and share. Because after all, what you might know about the Valley, your friends might not. And the only reason we're doing any of this is to let people know exactly what happens here. There's been some really magic stuff happen in the Valley. Just to remind you of a couple of small ones, Carlos Guerrero was down in Covington back, I think it was 2005. He was screwing around, throwing balls at the catcher. I don't think he was really throwing a bullpen. And he threw a ball at the catcher he couldn't catch. And he's like, do that again, do that again. Turns out Carlos discovered his screwball right there in Covington, and that took him to the major leagues. Roberto Hernandez, who you've heard me talk about before, made his transition from catching to pitching here, went on to be one of only 11 guys to appear in 1,000 major league games. And there's story after story. So that's why we're doing all of this. But hey, we got to say hi to our man in the Marquette shirt. Jordan, say hi to everybody.
Fans, good to see you again. Graham, a couple key words you brought up, seriously intense. That's how I love my baseball, and distill, man, that's how I like my drinks. So let's get this great game going, shall we?
Hey, but real quick. So I just shared with you a couple key moments. Aaron, you're new to the league. As you look back at the couple of weeks you've really drilled into and kind of got a feel for, what kind of highlights stand out at you? What are the moments you'll be talking about a couple years down the road?
Well, I've had some amazing conversations with former players in the league and then people that are associated with the league, whether it's owners or managers, and everybody just speaks so highly of their time in the Valley League. And they really gained a lot from their experiences, but not only from just playing, but from the relationships that they've had. And they talk about how they have players that come back every summer just to say hi when they're driving through town on the way to someplace else, going on vacation, they'll stop in for a game. So it's just really cool to see, the relationships that have been developed and how much people really care about the Valley League as a whole.
Yeah, that is incredibly heartwarming. Jordan, I know you talk about being so in love with Harrisonburg and kind of Harrisonburg through and through. What about you? What key moments stand out with you as we kind of near the end of June? You got any highlights that you'll keep with you for the years to come?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think the first one is how many times we have to remind you that it's runs in baseball and not points like in hockey terms. But no, and quite honestly and truthfully, I love doing this. I love coming down, putting time aside in my day, talking baseball with you and Aaron. And then even for stuff, just opportunities that I haven't had yet. For example, I'm going to be talking with Harrisonburg Turks player Nick Zona coming up, and we're going to be discussing what he's kind of done over the offseason and how he's coped with no baseball. And that's with both JMU, the Dukes, and here with the Turks. So it's not just the opportunities and the moments I've already had, but it's just the amazing moments yet to come. It's just one of the reasons I love coming to work for this league every day.
Yeah, well, I meant to mention this in last night's game of the night, but, Bob Weiss has got 6 decades with the Turks, which to me is just an incredible commitment to the team and the league. anyway, can't wait to hear what you come up with Nick. And really sorry that I've memorialized the Valley League by mixing my sports metaphors. But hey, whatever it takes, I'm willing to do it. Hey, tell us, Jordan, about the game we're about to see.
Yeah, Graham. Well, tonight's game, this is one you've been teasing for quite a while. And I know when we were getting ready to kind of wind up and get this one underway, you were saying, this is it. This is it. Over and over again. But fans, it's finally here. We have a perfect game, and it is going to take four pitchers, to be more specific. Four pitchers in this game are going to throw 18 combined shutouts. And I don't think we've shown the box score quite yet, but that key number, it's the number 0 under the hit column for one of these teams. It's been teased. It's finally here. Fans, you're going to love this one tonight. If you're a fan of pitching, this is it for you.
Yeah, well, we don't have to withhold the box score from them for too long. Here it is. What I find fascinating to me is this game actually took place in Front Royal, and that's where Roberto Hernandez made his transition from behind the plate to the mound. And, he talks about getting the ball and running with it for the whole game. To me, what is incredibly heartwarming is, this was a team effort. You had four pitchers come on and carry this one from the first inning all the way through to the end. Aaron, I know this is really the first chance you're getting a chance to look at this box score, but what stands out to you as you think about the Strasburg Express facing down the Front Royal Cardinals?
Well, obviously, we're going to have to talk about all of the zeros that we have across the bottom of this box score. Incredible performance by the Express to hold the Cards to absolutely no hits, no runs. I don't know what was going on with the Cardinals on the other side of things. In the field, they have a couple errors there, but the Express really put together a great game. I mean, not only did they pitch well, they hit well with 10 hits and 5 runs on their side. So it's kind of an all-around great game by Strasburg.
Yeah, and to me, one of the things I find so heartwarming about that is clearly a team effort. We've discussed in some of our past podcasts the concept of, and this actually in your conversation with Austin Gisriel, he just brought this up. He said a lot of the Valley League players who go up to Cape Cod don't find it as pleasant there as they do in the Valley, because a lot of the players there are really just swinging for the fence. They're there for themselves. They're there to pad their stats. They're there to kind of show the scouts what they can do. It's not about the team. It's not about what ends up happening on the field. It's just about that being in the showcase for that small amount of time. To me, this is a team that came together. And I remember talking to Brock Moss about his team. And, we've talked to several of the coaches and various other people who are involved in the league about, is this summer about just showcasing the player, or is it about doing this selfless play, the sacrifice, whatever it is, fly, bunt, whatever it is, to win the game? And to me, that when I look at this box score, it just stands out as Strasburg came together as a group and they just got it done. No hitter, shutout. I mean, what an impressive game.
The Express one strike away from a combined no-hitter here at the Bing. Sotil sets the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball, called strike 3 on the inside corner. Strikeout number 18 for the pitching staff and the combined no-hitter for the Strasburg Express. Hurst, Coffey, Rathburn, and Sotil combined for a no-hitter. Hurst threw 7 strikeouts, Coffey with 2, Rathburn with 6 in a row, and Sotil rounds out the game, closing it out with 3 strikeouts in a row.
There was some other action in the league that night. Aaron, why don't you set it up for everybody and take them back a year and tell them what they missed?
Absolutely. Lots of action. We've talked about some doubleheaders. And I know, Graham, you don't think that people can sweep in doubleheaders. We saw one last night. We're going to see another one tonight. It was Woodstock and Winchester. Woodstock got both of them kind of in a weird fashion. It was really odd. The Bandits were down 3-1 going into the 9th, but with the bases loaded, it was a walk that came in and tied things there. And then they were actually able to win on a walk-off balk, which is ridiculous. But a couple weird things had to come together for them to get that comeback win. They won the first game 4-3. And then in the second game, it was tied 1-1 until that final 7th inning. And there was a walk-off single that Woodstock was able to get in for the 2-1 win there for the sweep. So a couple of odd things that had to happen for Woodstock to get both of those. Definitely would have been a fun night to be there. The next game I have is Newmarket and Percival. Now the Cannons, we talked about it, they cannot catch a break. They out-hit the Rebels actually 11-7 in this game and came out on the bottom. They lost 8-7. They were down 2 heading into the ninth, and the Cannons scored 1, but they just couldn't get any more. They were able to bring it back within 1, but came out on the wrong side of things again tonight, with Newmarket winning 8-7.
Yeah, you may not have this. Do you happen to have the errors from that particular game for the Cannons? Was that one of the games where it was more about them struggling and giving the win away than it was about Newmarket?
I do not have the box score in front of me right now.
Well, that's all right. The Cannons have definitely had a few really golden moments. They're a great organization. They're always a strong rivalry with the Winchester Royals, always a tough competitor. And, 2019, there were some bright spots and there weren't. But, hey, when you look at a score 8-7, they're still very competitive. And then, aside from the first games we've shown, this is a team that really comes out and, work through some stuff and definitely put it together at times. Jordan, what else? There's a couple other games that took place in the league on this night. What did we miss?
Yeah, Graham, well, the first game that I want to recap, it's always fun to have extra innings in a baseball game, and the Waynesboro Generals and the Charlottesville Tom Sox, you want to talk about a close game too. It took an extra inning to do it, but eventually Charlottesville is going to score off an unearned run in the top of said 10th inning, and that's going to come from Kirby McCullen. He's going to score home off a single into right field by Thomas Francisco. Very close. Again, a little extra free baseball for the fans was necessary to pull it off, but only a 2-1, very narrow victory in this one. And then finally, second game I get to recap tonight, the Covington Lumberjacks and the Harrisonburg Turks. John Leonard, he's always fantastic with these notes he makes in the 2019 Valley Annual. And one that he really made here that stands out to me is that everyone, all 9 batters on that Harrisonburg roster, they got at least 1 hit in this ball game, and then every batter from the first spot in the rotation to the 8th, just missing out with that 9th spot there, but they had at least 2 hits in this ball game. This is a 12-8 victory for the Harrisonburg Turks in this game. Rafe Schindler, he's also going to come in. He's going to throw 3 shutout relief innings for the Turks. That's just going to kind of put away the Jacks, who get chopped down by Harrisonburg, so to speak. Got to apologize. I love my puns. But a win is a win. Turks on top over the Jacks, 12-8 in this ball game.
Very nice, very nice. What's funny is I've been talking about that walk-off balk for pretty much the whole season, because when I talk about the Valley, craziness in the Valley, it's, walk-off grand slams, home runs, balks, whatever, triples, doubles, singles. And the balk thing just always cracks me up. It just seems to me, I didn't realize until just now that game happened on the same night as this no-hitter. So what an incredible Father's Day for everybody.